Hey, this is Slow and Rusty here, May 26, 2017, shooting a quick video on my 1991 Mercedes-Benz 560 SEC Coupe. This was the last year that these cars were made, so kind of neat to actually own a car from the final year of production, both for the four-door sedan and also the two-door coupe. I've actually owned this car for 5 years and it was nowhere near the condition that you see here. I bought the car out of Charlotte, North Carolina. The previous owner was just tired of the car nickel and diming him, and it needed a lot of mechanical and cosmetic attention. I bought the car sight unseen off of AutoTrader. Had it shipped here to Houston, and I've actually been working on the car quite steadily for the last 5 years to bring it to the condition that you see now. When I bought the car, it didn't have the AMG body kit that you see on it. It didn't have the suspension that you see, the wheels, and certainly the paint was nowhere near what you see. So I just wanted to share this video with YouTube and also the other enthusiasts out there. In my opinion, this is one of the most beautiful Mercedes coupes and cars ever penned and designed and put in production. And it was the brainchild of Bruno Sacco, who was the head of Mercedes-Benz design, and he had quite a few amazing models that he had designed and then of course went into production during the late 60s, 70s, and 80s. So one of the cool features of the car is the fact that it has no B-pillar, and certainly very striking when you see it. The car is very timeless, and one of the neat things too is this is one of the last, if not the last, of the chassis that were hand built at the factory in Mercedes before they went full automation. On this particular model that I have on mine, I've spent a lot of time focusing on bringing the car up to a strong mechanical condition, and that included putting in a rebuilt transmission. As going to work one day, I lost all my gears except one forward gear, and had to have the car towed home, and then put in a rebuilt transmission that I bought out of California. And I've also done a ton of other work on it, including rebuilding all the fuel injection from the two pumps that reside below the tank in the rear, all the way forward to the lines and the injectors, all the rubber hoses, everything related to the fuel components, and of course brand new Bosch injectors. So that really helped with how the car ran, even the gas consumption, and how smooth it was at speed and even at idle. I've also replaced the timing chain. These cars are notorious for slapping the timing chain as they get older and as the miles get up there. This car has 157,000 miles. So for the condition that you see in front of you, it's been driven, and it's great to know that these cars actually they last well if you take care of them, and they last a long time, I should say, if you take care of them. And yeah, coming back to the timing chain, I did that about 2 years ago, and that included replacing the cam sprockets, the guides, the tensioner, and at the same time I also replaced the valve seals as the car was smoking at idle, and if I was at the lights and you took off, you could see the whisper of smoke just from the tailpipes. So that was a fair undertaking for a few weekends, but well worth it. At the same time, I've also changed the water pump and done some other neat things under the hood, which I'll share with you in a sec. I wanted to just do a quick walk around the AMG body kit that I fitted on the car last year. was a kit that I bought used, and it was in really poor shape. It was certainly overrepresented by the seller. I mean, I was fortunate to actually buy a Generation 2 AMG body kit for the US bumper, and but it was very badly damaged. It was torn up at the front nose and also the ears, and at the corners here, at the corner of the bumper, and both skirts along the doors were very badly cracked, as was the rear apron under the bumper. That was very badly broken, especially right above the rear tailpipes, and it had some shoddy repairs over the years. And I spent probably 3 or 4 weekends fiberglassing and rebuilding those pieces here at home, making them strong again, reinforcing them. And then I took them over to my friend Nick at Antonix, and he painted all the 4 pieces, and including the front and rear bumper. And then at the same time, I had bought this rear AMG trunk spoiler. Same thing, it needed a lot of help. It was originally black. Actually, all the pieces were black, so I guess it came off of a black car. And went in and filled in some cracks and smoothed it out, and then had that painted white to match the car. So the restoration of the body kit actually came out really well, and I have quite a few pictures of that process. I actually really enjoy fiberglassing, so didn't mind getting dirty and dusty and rebuilding them, because it is rare to come across a full Gen 2 AMG body kit, and they fit real nicely on the car, as you can see. And the good thing is I fitted the body kit without having to drill one hole in the car, so it's cool. One thing that is neat is I had Antonix mold the rear apron onto the rear bumper, so it looks all uniform and like it's meant to be there. The body kit it's very subtle and really complements the lines of the car, but yet makes it aggressive. When these cars were new, they had quite a bit of wheel well gap, and certainly one thing that bothered me. So I spent quite some time and an effort playing around with different suspension setups to get the suspension and the ride height that you see right now, which involved playing with different lowering springs from H&R and an Eibach. And right now I'm actually running an H&R spring setup with a coil removed to give it the ride height and the stance that you see. The car also has a larger rear sway bar, and I'm running W116 metal end links on it. I've rebuilt all the self-leveling suspension all the way from the engine all the way back to the rear spheres, and so the car's had quite a bit of suspension work done over the years as well. Turning to let's go. Actually, I got quite a few things I wanted to share. One thing you will see is I converted the car to a glass sunroof off the later model 140 chassis coupe, and it's a smoked glass roof to replace the original metal roof, and it makes the cabin nice and airy, and certainly complements the lines of the car as well. And that also involved a few weekends worth of work, but certainly worth it. So let's go inside and I'll show you guys the interior. Oh, there's a key. I actually redid all the seats, the leather on the front seats, as they were getting really thin on the bolsters right here. And first time actually messing around with the leather, took the seats out and rebuilt the motors, and bought the skins from GAHH out of California, and right here in this driveway pulled all the seats apart, rebuilt the motors, and then also built up the bolsters with horsehair and foam to give it a little bit more aggressive fitment, so it really hugs you when you sit inside. And put it all back together, and it looks good. It certainly looks like feels and it's comfortable now. I also have the AMG steering wheel, and yeah, everything else inside the car is pretty standard. It's real comfortable. It's a nice driving car, and runs really well. I will pop the hood and then show you guys what's going on under the hood here. Okay, so this is the business end of things. It's the 117 code engine. It's again 5.6 liter. These cars were rated at 238 horsepower for the US spec model. And I'm probably closer to, I would say 275 horsepower, maybe a hair more. The way that I had the horsepower jump is I was fortunate to purchase a set of these custom-made headers. There were only 508 sets that were handmade, and that really helped the car breathe. The factory cast manifolds really stifled down the ability for the car to make power, as well as the fact that this car was equipped with a catalytic converter, and the exhaust system was just very restrictive, as was typical for any 80s European car or Japanese car that came to the US. So it was a bit of a bear to fit the exhaust, especially over here on the left side, the driver's side. It's very tight because of the steering box and on the shaft, and of course all the lines. But once it was in, I had a 2 1/4 equal length exhaust system for each bank, also made, all mandrel bent. It was done by PowerFab here in Houston. They did a great job, and both banks run through a 2-in 2-out MagnaFlow exhaust. So that really perked up the car, as well as the car does not have an air pump anymore. I also had Ron Davis make me this aluminum radiator that you see up here, and at the same time I fitted these twin electric fans. I made all the mounts here at home. That's thermostatically controlled by this controller over here, which ramps up and down the fan speed based on engine temperature speed using a thermocouple that's fitted through the fins of the fan. When I had the engine apart, when I was doing the timing chain and guides and so on, I took a lot of items off the engine and had it powder coated. This it's actually called Alien Silver, including all the brackets here on the alternator, the valve covers and different things that certainly needed just some aesthetic help. And then I polished the air filter cover, as you see. I'm also running a smaller battery right here. It's a big crank 23-pound battery, which has plenty cranking power to turn the engine over, and at least I was able to save about 30 pounds by going with a smaller AGM style battery. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll put some more updates on the car over time, and enjoy. Take care.